Take a good look at the man who stands before you now. This is Geralt of Rivia, the master witcher who lent his valiant hand to the defeat of the giant Goliath.
Hello, my name is Colin Campbell. I'm with Polygon. We're looking at The Witcher 3, Blood and Wine, which is coming out in a few months' time. It's an expansion, the last expansion for the role-playing game. This 15-minute video, I hope, will give you some sense of what to expect when the expansion arrives. It's split between gameplay sections, during which I hope to tell you about some of the things that I saw when I played the game, and some cutscenes which will give you a sense of the story. You can also read the feature at Polygon. There's the link if you're watching on YouTube. The first Witcher game came out in 2007. The Witcher 3 came out almost exactly a year ago. This is the second expansion. It's said to last between 20 and 30 hours. It takes place in a region called Toussaint, which is loosely based on the south of France, and it's much prettier, I suppose, than some of the places we've seen before in the Witcher games. It is a verdant land, it is a peaceful land, and it's also, to a certain extent, comedic. You see some of the other characters here. These are knights, local knights, and they speak in a sort of Don Quixote way. They have this reverence for courtly manners. And the game takes place, the centre of the game is a great big festival, a tournament in which all those courtly manners can be given full play. The story revolves around a bunch of murders of noblemen. There seems to be some sort of connection between their death. They are seemingly being murdered by a monster, not this monster, a much more terrifying one. This is just an ogre that he comes across on his travels. We'll talk some more in a moment. Here is another cutscene.
Big beast. Tackling it single-handed? None too wise.
Neither is love born of wisdom, Witcher. So, Guillaume, out with it. Which fair damsel inspired you to vow to kill that filth?
The most beautiful among them.
If he wishes to guard her name a secret, he need not reveal it.
You I do not know, sir, nor seem you a knight, yet still I am profoundly grateful, nay, indebted to you for your succor. This trophy, sir, is yours.
I'll take the trophy. Why not? Could find someone who'll pay to buy it. Put up a good fight against the giant. Got experience battling monsters?
None. In Toussaint we mostly chase bandits. But I vowed I'd bring my heart's champion the head of a monstrosity, as the famed Gottfried, known as the Giant Killer, did.
You don't mean to hunt the beast, I hope. The matter's best left to Geralt.
Another challenge awaits me. Yet if Geralt is to hunt the beast, he ought to know. It struck again.
The river surrendered a corpse. It washed up in the meander by the cockatrice. Damien de la Tour's guardsmen are there already, securing the area.
Securing the area? Better go there now before they trample any tracks, manhandle any evidence.
Set forth then. I shall ride for the city to inform her gracious magnificence that Geralt has arrived. We'll meet later, near Guillaume's tent at the tourney grounds. I shall take you then to see her grace.
What now?
This isn't the site of the murder. We know that. Current brought the body here. Corpse got caught in the nets. Guardsmen pulled it out, put it in a boat and took it somewhere. Need to find out where. I'd like to look at the corpse before it starts to decompose.
The inn. Its patrons must have seen the guardsmen, which direction they took. We should ask there.
One thing. Found a handkerchief in the water. Monogrammed DLC. Mean anything to you?
Delacroix? It cannot be. Was it he the beast slew?
Seems so. Knew him well?
Long past. We were close friends once, but our paths diverged. He was a man of extremes, standing by his companions no matter the odds, fighting his foes to the bitter end.
Foes? You have a lot of them?
He did, but I do not see what that has to do with the beast. Ah, Geralt, you've struck a raw nerve. Memories of a time long past, to which I'd rather not return now.
I understand. We can talk later. Let's go to the tavern.
And so Geralt goes to the inn, he interviews the locals, he searches for clues. If you've played any Witcher games, you understand how this goes down, and now he's on his way to his next quest. There was something interesting in that last scene. There was a joke about DLC, which I'm sure you noticed. The game has quite a lot of gags and humour and in-jokes about The Witcher 3. I think this being the last part of this particular trilogy, the developers decided to have a little bit of fun, not merely with the way that the world looks, but also with the characters themselves, those over-the-top knights, and also some jokes that Geralt lays out. So this is a game that's prepared to have a little bit of fun at its own expense, and I think that's something that a lot of people are going to enjoy. Tucson itself is said to be about the size of no man's land in Novgorod, which is a sizable area, but this is more densely populated with areas of interest, including this vineyard which we're about to explore. Later in the game, Geralt gets to enjoy this place as a reward, and you can, as a player, decorate it, although you don't get that many options in terms of creating your own individual style. You just kind of allow this binary thing to happen, but it's certainly something different in the Witcher games. So we're going to go down into these dungeons, and we're going to skip over now to a pretty grisly scene in which Geralt finds another dead body. Fair warning, there's also following that a scene with a naked woman.
Stinks. Waterlogged. Both hands amputated. Body was quartered just as I thought. Laid in water for some time. Head swollen, and something took a few bites out of it. Something in the throat. A pouch, bulging with coins. Nilfgaardian florins, from several different provinces. If the murderer did this, means we're dealing with a sentient thinking beast. Body was chopped up after death. Blows struck with great force, but bones sliced through, not crushed. Creature that killed him had long claws, sharp as a witcher's blade. First sank its claws into the victim's heart. No Bruxa did this. Third hand. A spare? Except it's clearly not the victim's. Guardsmen must have not noticed it as they picked everything up. How's this possible? Still warm. Blood still flowing? Several monster species can regenerate. Never heard of that happening to their severed limbs, though. Or of their limbs seeming completely alive after so much time. Examine the tissue more closely later. Might learn something. So, murderer was clearly a monster, but not a Bruxa. But then why'd the Bruxa come here for the severed hand? And who does the hand belong to? Why the hell's it still warm? Now, pouch shoved down the victim's throat. What's the significance? And why was he chopped up into pieces? Lots of questions, no answers so far. Need to know about the other victims. I'll ask Palmerin to get me in to see the Duchess. You. Saw you at the inn. Why'd you kill these people? Clearly wasn't for their blood. We don't have to fight.
You are wrong. I cannot let you leave.
So here's a battle with that vampire, obviously extremely challenging. You're going to need to have a level 35 character, that's the recommendation, which is pretty much where you would be if you finished the main quest in The Witcher 3. With this battle, it's not so much about figuring out the patterns of the enemy. She can do what she likes in terms of sneaking up on you and being invisible. You're going to have to make use of potions, poisons, and as you'll see in a moment, a bomb. There's a whole new upgrade tree that's also been added to combat. These upgrades are called mutations, and they deliver powerful punches, I suppose you could say, to the signs that you use during those attacks. These 12 mutations add an extra layer to combat strategy, while also giving Geralt heavy endgame powers. In one, for example, he was able to freeze attackers en masse as they crowd around. This part of the game, it's too early to show you those. I mentioned a little bit earlier about how you can decorate your vineyard. There's also more personal choices that can be made in terms of your armour and the clothes that you wear. There are dyes that you can research and find, and you can apply those to your clothes. You can also demonstrate your clothes within your home. Just as we watch this fight come to an end, a few more bits of information that comes through on the bump. We're promised 30 new weapons, 20 new monsters, 90 quests and 40 points of interest. You'll also notice if you get this game that the user interface has been tidied up, which with complex RPGs is always a good thing. So when I played this early part of the expansion a few weeks ago, I got some sense of the story and what's going on. And what's interesting is that the murders, the style of the murders, gives the player some sense of the motivation of the murderer and what this monster, this beast, really wants. And pretty soon you start to put the clues together as you move on to the next part of the game, which is that great big tournament which we're going to go to next. Now, the tournament, here we are in a pretty dark and dank dungeon, but as you will see, the tournament grounds themselves are very different. This is an absolute explosion of colour, and I really feel as if the artists were just told to go absolutely nuts.
If we hurry, we'll be in time to speak with her before the spectacle begins.
Lead the way. Who's fighting? Nilfgaardian gladiators?
Close, but not quite. As you will soon see.
Someone's gonna fight a Shamrock with only some bells on its tail to confuse it, slow it down?
Whatever is the problem? The beast is a gift from the Emperor, no less.
Let's go.
It's begun. The fight shall have to end first. We must wait.
Got a bad feeling about this. Damn it. We have to help him. Keep it down. Can only tell where we are when it hears us.
Well done! It's not back into Earth. Then down came the Witcher in one mighty bound. In fight to the beast.
So I hope during this video you've had a chance to see what Blood and Wine has to offer. I think really it's pretty much more of the same. All the things that The Witcher 3 is known for, some really solid mechanics, good combat, lots of variety, lots of interesting non-player characters, a solid story. I think you're going to see more of that when this expansion arrives.
Is it true virtue always trumps villainy?
Yeah. Virtue always wins.
But the Black Knight, he's a villain and he wins.
Moral victory. That's what counts.